Hello again. It's Saturday, May 1st, 2021, and this is episode 27 of Dinner from the Dining Car. Last week we made a couple of pies for the video. Today we're going to keep things simple. We're making a baked salmon in a dill sauce, and I'm going to be serving that with roasted broccoli and peppers and a baked potato. Now I'm going to go through making all three, so that way you'll be able to make a complete dinner. Now the roasted broccoli and the potatoes are my thing, but the salmon and dill sauce is from the Great Northern Railroad. This was served on the Empire Builder, one of their crack trains. So let me tell you what's going to go in to tonight's dinner. First thing, salmon. You can't make baked salmon without salmon. We've got just over a pound here, and this is sockeye wild-caught salmon. A little more expensive, but the taste is worth it. For the seasoning on the salmon, you're going to need thyme leaves, some parsley flakes, a little bit of rosemary, and good old-fashioned salt and pepper. Now the sauce is going to be a dill sauce. You're going to make that with vegetable broth, because I couldn't get seafood broth. Seafood broth would probably be better, but vegetable broth is a really good second idea. You're also going to need dill, and plenty of it. You'll also need some flour, because you're going to take a couple of cups of the vegetable broth, whip it with some flour and the dill to make the sauce. For the broccoli and peppers, you're going to need, of course, broccoli crowns. We have quite a bit of broccoli crowns here. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, but there'll be plenty of vegetables. You're also going to need some sweet peppers. Now I have some sweet. There's an orange pepper, a sweet red pepper, and a sweet brown pepper. These are a little harder to find, but they're worth it. They're going to give a lovely flavor to the roasted broccoli. These will roast on a cookie sheet while you're cooking the salmon. You're also going to need baked potato. Now I think I'm just going to make one of these baked potatoes, because these particular baked potatoes are gigantic. They weigh, I guess, about 1.5 pounds a piece. Now this is a lot to eat, so I'm basically going to make this and split it with the wife. I was thinking about making fondant potatoes, but that's a big step. They're a little more complicated to make. They're very yummy, but they're very complicated. But we're going to go with a simple baked potato today. Okay, I need flour. I don't have it out because it's just not going to use that much of it. Anyway, that's all you're going to need for today's recipe. So I guess we'll put on the old apron and the funny hat, and then we'll be back when we start cooking. Oh, one other thing. We're going to be starting the potato first, because that's going to take that potato that size is going to take at least an hour to cook. So not a big deal. Making a baked potato is easy. Anybody can make a baked potato. My grandchildren can make a baked potato. So, and I have some pretty young grandchildren. Anyway, that's it for the ingredients for this video. And when I get everything all ready, we'll be back. I'll see you then. Okay, we're back. We have taken our gigantic potato and rinsed it. Now, one of the things you have to do is just grab a fork and start poking holes in your potato. You do this so as it's baking, it doesn't explode. Just poke enough holes in it to let the steam inside of it escape. Alright, now, what most people do is they turn around and they wrap it in aluminum foil. I don't. I just leave it open on a rack. That way the skins get a lot crisper. And here's how we crisp them. We take some olive oil and you just pour it on the potato and you kind of rub it all down. You get up and wash your hands. Oh good, a sink of soapy water. That's fabulous. Now that you've done that, you take your salt and you're just going to salt the outside of this potato. And now you're going to cook this at about 450 degrees for an hour. At the end of half an hour, you get in there, you flip this thing over, and then you go another half an hour. So let's get this started. Now for this, because I'm using my regular oven for the vegetables and the salmon, I'm going to cook in our little turbo oven. Our little countertop oven. So we start that at 450. We're going to go half an hour, and then we'll come in again after half an hour. You come back, you flip the potato, and you go another half an hour. Now that we have that done, we need a cookie sheet. And aluminum foil. Or as they would say in England, aluminium foil. Okay, and you're going to sprinkle this with some olive oil. Cutting board. Knife. Broccoli. And you're going to take your broccoli crown, chop off what you don't need. Some of the stems, if you want, you can cut them off as well. You don't want to cut this in too small pieces. Now normally I might cut broccoli smaller, but today, not really. And you just start breaking it off onto the cookie sheet in whatever size suits your fancy. Now normally I might just buy a bag of already cut up broccoli, but when I went to the store, the broccoli crowns were on sale for cheaper, and I figured, what the heck, it just takes a couple of minutes to cut up the broccoli. And boy, are we going to have plenty of it. There. 2 broccoli crowns. Broccoli clowns. Okay. 2 broccoli crowns ought to just about do what we want. You'll notice I cut most of the stems off. Now the peppers. Want to cut off the ends of the peppers because you won't need those. Now I've used some of these peppers before, so they're already, half of it's already cut, and you're just going to cut rings. It's not that difficult. Now this is going to go in with your fish. Your fish is going to be in another pan. That's why we can put as much of this broccoli and this pepper as we want. Oh, the brown peppers. If you people can get a hold of brown sweet peppers, oh, they're delicious, and do they ever smell good. Spread those around. Oops. Take that out of there. Oh, there's a chunk we don't want to miss. I know. I'm a bad boy. I should have caught up all this stuff ahead of time, but what the heck. Now you can actually see me do the work. You're going to need a little more olive oil than this. Just put that all together. Get it all happy with olive oil. Go wash your hands again. Now, what I like to season these with is Montreal steak seasoning. It's really relatively easy to find, especially if you have a discount store like a 99-cent store or an Aldi or a grocery outlet or someplace where groceries are cheaper. This stuff is amazingly low priced when you can find it. And we just sprinkle it all over the peppers and the broccoli. This is going to roast spectacularly. That's the prep work for that. This won't go in the oven for another half an hour. Now you need to get out baking dish. This is going to be where your salmon and your dill sauce sit in. While you're up, start your oven preheating to 350 degrees. That's what's called a moderately heated oven. Today we're going to cut down on some of the fat, and you're going to, by using, instead of shortening, we're going to use cooking spray. You want to liberally spray this baking pan You're literally painting the baking pan with this stuff. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go offline for just a few minutes. I need to go pick some herbs out of my garden. Actually, I'm going to use the dried ones that are here. Heck with it. Salmon. You're going to take this salmon out of the packaging. Oh, these are lovely sized chunks of salmon. That is so pretty. And you're going to lay these, whoops, you don't need that paper, in this pan. You're going to spray them with the cooking spray as well. Paper towels. Okay, now you're going to season this with a little salt. Again, I'm a big fan of pink Himalayan. But if you've got kosher salt, that works just as well. If you've got Molden salt, that works just as well. I just prefer pink Himalayan. Fresh ground pepper. I use a multi-pepper mix that I buy at Costco. If you have a Costco or a Sam's Club, you can get a good sized bottle of this relatively inexpensive. You're going to grab your parsley flakes. I'm going to put a pinch on either one, on both of them. Your thyme leaves, same thing. I'm going to put a pinch on both fillets. Now this is just about a pound of salmon, so that's what you're looking for. If you have one huge chunk of salmon, cut it up a little smaller. And then a pinch of your rosemary, and oh boy, does this look gorgeous already. Check this out, folks. Look at how pretty those chunks of fish are. Now that you've done all that, a little bit of that sugar. Where's my flour? Now we're going to make the sauce. Actually, here's what's going to happen. I've got about 20-25 minutes before this has to go into the oven. We're going to shut the camera off. We're going to wait that 25 minutes. And then when we come back, I'll make the sauce and put everything else, put the vegetables and the salmon into the oven. We'll see you then. Okay, it's been about the 25-30 minutes for the potato to cook halfway through. We've just flipped it over and restarted it. So now we're going to do our sauce for the salmon. you're going to get 2 cups of your broth. Again, this is vegetable broth. Seafood broth would have been much better, but I couldn't get a hold of it. 2 cups, by the way, is a pint. So that's what we're talking about here. Okay, then you're going to get your flour. This is just, you know, all-purpose flour. And you're going to grab about a heaping tablespoon of the flour. Then you're going to sit there and you're going to whisk that. Another thing you're going to add to it, and I forgot to mention it earlier, I apologize, is half a stick of melted butter. You're going to pour that in there as well, and you're going to whisk that around in there. While you're whisking, it should thicken up quite a bit. All right, that's the flour. We're done with that. Ow! Bugger. Hate it when rubber bands snap me. Then you're going to grab your dill. Please tell me I've opened it. Yes. You're going to add a tablespoon of the dill. Now, if you have fresh, more power to you. I don't happen to have any fresh, so I'm using dried, and wow, it already smells fabulous. Just whisk that in there, make sure it's good and whisked up with the butter and broth and vegetable broth. And you're going to pour this right on top of your salmon. Spread the dill around. This is going to thicken up as it heats. Now, your oven, again, should be preheated to 350. We're going to put the vegetables on the bottom rack and the salmon on the top rack. And those will go for another half an hour to 45 minutes. So that's it for that step. And I'm going to shut the camera off. And then we'll clean up a bit here before my wife gets upset. And we'll be back when this comes out of the oven. See you then. Here it is about 45 minutes later, and we are about to pull this out of the oven. The potato is done. It's gorgeous. Here's our roasted broccoli and peppers, and oh, those have such a wonderful char on them. Here is our fish. Let me bring the camera over here so you folks can see all this. Turn the oven off. There's our broccoli and peppers. You notice it's got a nice char on it. Well, that's what you're supposed to have when you roast broccoli. And over here is the salmon. Now you notice that sauce is still a little thin? Well, when we plate the fish, we're going to bring in a whisk and whisk that sauce back together, and hopefully it'll thicken up. If it doesn't, well, we'll just add a little more flour to it. Anyway, that's it for this week's video, guys. If you make this, I think you're going to enjoy it, especially the roasted broccoli. It's got a wonderful char. Oh man, that tastes good. So, anyway, thanks for coming along on this little salmon and vegetable and potato journey. If you like this, go ahead and make it. And if you'll do me a huge favor, hit the like button so we can play with YouTube's analytics. And then please, please, please subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. Anyway, and if you want to email me with questions, comments, or ask for a copy of the recipe, I'm at dinnerfromthediningcar@yahoo.com. Thanks for coming along. Enjoy your night and eat well, and we'll see you when we see you.